Ladies and gentlemen, that is how you properly stage a battle between giants. And I'm talking specifically about Pacific Rim. The only movie I've seen so far that actually nails the concept of giant robots fighting giant monsters, and does it in such a cool, satisfying way. Seriously, after watching this movie as a kid, I could never walk in the shallow end of a pool the same way again. I'd always imagine myself as a towering Jaeger. Yeah, don't make fun of me. In Pacific Rim, the Kaiju, aka big monsters, are divided into categories ranging from 1 to 5, each with unique appearances and abilities. Some look like bizarre crossbreeds between lizards and bats, capable of flight, while others resemble massive gorilla-like creatures equipped with EMP blasts. The Jaegers, on the other hand, are classified by their mark, kind of like Iron Man suits, but let's address the Jaeger in the room. What makes this movie so good? Sure, it's a movie about giant robots punching giant monsters, but that's meaningless if it doesn't feel real or if there aren't any stakes. Fortunately, Pacific Rim delivers that sense of realism and urgency impressively well. Let's start with the Jaegers. The most obvious strength is how they feel slow, mechanical, and heavy, which totally makes sense given their enormous size. But it's more than that. It's the way the camera shakes as they walk across landscapes. It's the way roads are crushed beneath their feet as they move through cities. It's how you're placed in a pedestrian's perspective, looking up in awe as the Jaeger strolls past. You can hear the strain in the hydraulics and see the mechanical parts struggling to lift their colossal limbs. You know what other movie nailed this sensation? Iron Man. The older Iron Man films made Tony's suit feel real because we could see, hear, and almost feel the mechanical parts moving. And just like we watch the intricate assembly of Iron Man's suit, Pacific Rim gives us similar visuals, internal mechanics, moving parts, and all. Combine all of that with a diverse range of camera angles that showcase the true scale of the Jaegers, and they feel alive.
But it's not just the robots. The world feels alive too. We see panicked civilians running for shelters during attacks, grounding the action with human stakes. And during the battles, we're constantly reminded that mistakes have consequences. Take this scene, for example. Gypsy Danger messes up, gets pushed into a bridge, and it collapses, with cars visibly plummeting off it. That kind of collateral damage adds weight to the fights. Instead of having some character melodramatically declare, "Oh no, man, the fate of the world rests on your shoulders. If you die, we're all doomed."
Hey, she's trying to take over the world.
So?
That thing's laying waste to the whole damn world. Hey, Harley, she's trying to take over the world. Lady, you are evil.
Anyway, let's dive into the plot. The movie starts with Raleigh and his brother suiting up and being all cool. That is, until they encounter the first ever Category 3 Kaiju, and things go downhill fast.
Get him! Come on! Shoot it! Come on!
The Jaegers start getting wiped out across the globe. As a last-ditch effort, humanity devises a plan to deliver a nuclear bomb into the breach, the portal where Kaiju emerge, and blow it up. Now here's the thing. Up until Gypsy Danger's defeat, humanity was pretty much dominating the Kaiju with the Jaegers, wiping the floor with them. So naturally, you might ask, thoughtful, but, my friend, why did we start losing all of a sudden? Well, folks, I think I've got a theory. In the story of Pacific Rim, Kaiju are essentially bioweapons. Soldiers engineered to destroy and colonize worlds on behalf of their creators, the precursors. Initially, we're led to believe Kaiju are just big dumb monsters, stomping around like giant toddlers. Fun fact, just 1 cubic meter of their poop contains enough phosphorus to fertilize a field. But as we learn, the precursors are the ones calling the shots. They're the brains behind the operation. Up until the Gypsy Danger versus Knifehead fight, the Jaegers were doing fine. But in that battle, the precursors discovered a critical weakness. The pilots are nearly always located in the Jaeger's head. Surprised? Interestingly, Knifehead didn't know this. He kept hammering Gypsy Danger's body. The head strike seemed like an accident, but the precursors, being the strategic masterminds they are, took note of this vulnerability and began targeting Jaeger heads in future battles. That's when Jaegers started dropping like flies. Now you might be wondering, but my friend, if they figured out the head is the weak spot, how did some Jaegers still survive? Good question. Here's the answer. Each surviving Jaeger was special in some way. And no, not that kind of special. Take the Russian Jaeger, Cherno Alpha, for instance. It doesn't really have a defined head, which probably confused the Kaiju. Crimson Typhoon? It's incredibly agile and has 3 arms, each ending in massive blades. And Striker Eureka? It's the fastest Jaeger ever built, and comes equipped with 6 chest cannons. These unique features likely threw off the Kaiju. The precursors simply didn't have a solid strategy to counter them. Yet. But everything changed when Newt drifted with the Kaiju brain. Now, drifting is the same technology that allows 2 Jaeger pilots to link their minds, but it's a two-way street. Newt saw into the Kaiju's mind, and they saw into his. That means the precursors now had access to critical intel. Jaeger specs, weaknesses, strategies, all of it. From this point onward, the Kaiju were no longer just big angry beasts. They were specifically designed to counter the remaining Jaegers. Remember, Kaiju are clones. We see one harvested in Sydney, another in Manila, 6 years apart, and they have identical DNA. These aren't just monsters, they're engineered weapons. So after Newt's drift, the precursors began customizing Kaiju to take down each of the remaining Jaegers. Remember, Kaiju are clones.
Now this one here was harvested in Sydney, and this was harvested in Manila 6 years ago. They have the same exact DNA. They're clones.
These aren't just monsters, they're engineered weapons. So after Newt's drift, the precursors began customizing Kaiju to take down each of the remaining Jaegers. One Kaiju was a giant gorilla-like brute with an EMP, which disabled Striker Eureka's electronics. Another, resembling a lizard-bat hybrid, had a tail claw perfect for bypassing Crimson Typhoon's agility and slicing straight through its smaller, weaker head. It even had acid spit, perfect for breaking through Cherno Alpha's heavy armor. The only Jaeger they couldn't plan for was Gypsy Danger. At that point, Gypsy had been inactive for 5 years, and Newt probably didn't know much about it. Since Gypsy is analog and nuclear powered, the EMP didn't work. It was agile enough to dodge the acid and even exploit the Kaiju's weaknesses. So, realizing all of this in hindsight only makes the movie even better. And that brings me to one final, satisfying conclusion. I'm really glad this movie never got a sequel, because if it had, there's a chance it wouldn't have maintained these qualities. It might have lost the grounded realism, the mechanical immersion, and the high stakes that made Pacific Rim so special. In fact, it could have ruined the potential for a truly great cinematic universe. Thankfully, that never happened, right?